In this next section of Genesis, we will focus our attention on a pair of famous siblings, not the Williams sisters or the Manning brothers, but Jacob and Esau, the twin brothers and sons of Isaac and Rebekah. I would encourage you to watch this video that we viewed in class if you were absent, as that will help give you an overview of the story. Jacob and Esau, their story begins in Genesis 25. Isaac, their dad, marries their mom, Rebekah, and for a while, Rebekah is unable to have children, so she is barren, and Isaac prays on her behalf, and eventually, 20 years later, Jacob and Esau are born. And before they are even born, Rebekah feels them fighting with one another within the womb, and she asks the Lord, what is going on with these two? And the Lord informs her that there are two nations at war within her, and that the older will serve the younger. So this is an important prophecy that Rebekah receives that will play a role a little later in the story. So Jacob and Esau, as they are born and then grow older, Jacob is the favorite of his mom, Rebekah. Esau is the hunter and outdoorsman, and Isaac favors Esau. So there's already a little rivalry there. And one day, as Esau is out hunting, when he comes home, he finds Jacob cooking some stew. And in fact, he trades his birthright, which is essentially the future role of family leader and a double portion of the inheritance. He trades his birthright for that bowl of stew because he was so hungry. And we might wonder, why would Esau give up this birthright? Well, the scripture does tell us that he didn't want any part of it. So maybe he was afraid of the responsibility. But I think also we can read out of the text here that he is looking for some instant gratification. So he's giving up what he may want most for what he wanted in the moment, which was that bowl of stew, because he was so hungry. Now, we listened to some of the story together in class, and the next part of the story brings us to a deception. So Jacob and his mother plot to deceive Isaac. Isaac is now older, and he's gone blind. And so Jacob, if you remember, his name means he who deceives. He and his mother plot to pretend he is Esau and to receive Isaac's blessing. And that would confirm his role as leader to take on that role after Isaac passes away. So they deceive Isaac. Jacob receives his blessing, and then Esau is not happy about this. So Esau threatens to kill Jacob, and Rebekah sends Jacob on the run, tells him to flee until things are a little calmer. And we'll see that Jacob and Esau won't meet again for quite some time. And while Jacob is away, he's actually going to meet the love of his life, and he's going to get married, not to one, but two women and two sisters. Now, Rachel is Jacob's favorite. And when he meets her, he agrees to work for her father for 7 years to marry her. And yet the father tricks Jacob. So Jacob, who is the deceiver, is going to be deceived. And the father, Laban, marries his daughter Leah off to Jacob. And so Jacob marries Leah first, and then he works another 7 years and marries eventually Rachel. Now, some years go by. Jacob has many children, which we'll get to in just a moment, and eventually Jacob and Esau reunite. While Jacob is fearing what Esau might do to him, it turns out that Esau has had a change of heart over the years, and they reconcile and forgive and hug and embrace as brothers. Now, what we failed to mention, that before Jacob and Esau reunite, Jacob becomes Israel. His name is changed. And Israel means one who wrestles or wrestling with God. And from this point forward, we'll see that the name Jacob and Israel become interchangeable, but it's referring to the same person. So the family tree gets a little complicated, to say the least, and we filled this chart out in class together. You'll notice that it goes from Abraham and Sarah to Isaac and Rebekah to Jacob and Esau, and then Jacob is going to have more than one wife, Rachel and Leah. And then he also fathers children with their maidservants, Bilhah and Zilpah. Now it gets complicated and certainly confusing. But the point of going through all this was that Jacob's going to have 12 children, and his 11th child, his 11th son at least, Joseph, is Jacob's favorite, and that's because he is born to Rachel, his true love, and he is the oldest son of Jacob and Rachel. And Joseph has a younger brother, Benjamin, also. His mother is also Rachel, and we'll see that they play a significant role in the next story, the story of Joseph.